You're not reading that title wrong. For the last year or so, there have been a lot of rumors that Cartoon Network is shutting down. And then there have been a lot of conflicting reports on what that exactly means. I was previously under the impression that Cartoon Network Studios as a building was closing up shop, with its employees migrating to a different building owned by Warner Bros. Discovery, where they would still create Cartoon Network productions, with the only difference being that they now share a roof with WB Animation. But that's not the case, because Warner CEO and part-time supervillain David Zaslav doesn't see the value in animation and has to dedicate his whole career to getting Warner Discovery out of billions in debt. So their solution is to get rid of Cartoon Network entirely and basically have it only exist as a brand. But where's this information coming from? Well, as you may know right now, all of the writers in Hollywood are on strike for better working conditions and better pay. And to put things into perspective, they're only asking for a 2% raise, something that these CEOs making $1 bajillion every week could easily afford. 8 of them actually making over $773 million in salary, but they're still refusing to budge. And this absolute airhead Dave Berzanzo had the audacity to say that the strike won't last because a love for working will end the impasse. How fucking delusional do you have to be to say this? Especially when the strike is still in its infancy. We're about a week into this versus the 3 months the 2007 strike lasted. And this week has already cost studios an unfathomable amount of money. So this statement is just absolute buffoonery from old Davey. Obviously, no one in the entertainment industry took kindly to this, but there's one thread I really found to be eye-opening by a writer whose name and handle I'll keep out of the video for privacy's sake. Says the dude who makes $88,000 an hour, even while sleeping, to destroy brands like Cartoon Network and HBO. Cartoon Network doesn't exist anymore, guys. This dude went in and killed all original development and has an agenda to only make shows based off IP. I lost 3 original shows with insane talent that I had been working on for years thanks to this dude, and he can suck it. He also fired all the execs that have been working there, putting their blood, sweat, and tears into these projects too. People I've spent a decade developing relationships to get where I got, and in a snap of his fingers, gone. All of it. The jobs, the buildings, the shows. There is one person on the Cartoon Network team. One! When there used to be a whole company! When I found out Cartoon Network doesn't exist anymore, I sobbed. They made beautiful, original work. Art is being destroyed in silence, and they want you to blame everyone but them. So yeah, not only is Cartoon Network Studios as a building about to be kaput, but all the talent and jobs are going with it. It's absolutely disgusting and heartbreaking to see.
Immoral, thoughtless, hurtful!
All because this corporation is ran by Mr. Krabs cosplaying the villain in a Disney Channel original movie. Now, about a month or 2 ago, I made a video running down all the upcoming Cartoon Network shows, but in light of this news, I gotta keep it a buck with y'all. If it's not already out on TV like Unicorn, or a reboot like Powerpuff Girls, it's probably dead in the water. I know Invincible Fight Girl is still kicking because the people who work on the show still tweet about it, but I wouldn't expect that to be anything more than a one and done. Of course, don't expect the Cartoon Network brand to disappear. The TV channels, social media, and all of that is gonna stick around. Why wouldn't it? It's a name that a lot of people have a connection to, and thus it's good for business. But now it's going to be a shell of what it once was. It's Cartoon Network in name and name alone. It's very reminiscent of how the OG Hanna-Barbera ceased to exist, which if you guys don't know or don't remember, they produced a lot of early Cartoon Network shows before some of them switched production to Cartoon Network Studios proper. It's also fairly obvious that higher-ups were well aware that this was going to be Cartoon Network's fate for quite some time, given that it's been public knowledge that the Powerpuff Girls and Foster's reboots are being made at Hanna-Barbera Europe. They clearly did not anticipate for Cartoon Network Studios to exist for much longer, and while the United States is dealing with all of this corporate restructuring and now strikes, they can just outsource the production of their shows to a different country. And I would basically expect this to become a pattern for the rest of Cartoon Network. Don't expect any original ideas and expect reboots to be made somewhere else. All of this really has me looking at Adult Swim's newest show, Unicorn Warriors Eternal, as a swan song for Cartoon Network. For starters, it's created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who's created Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Primal, and co-created Symbionic Titan. This man has been around for pretty much every era of Cartoon Network, and now he's basically sending it off with this beautiful piece of art that has gorgeous animation and an engaging story that truly respects its audience. It feels like lost media from Cartoon Network's glory days that's been recovered in the highest quality possible. I truly recommend checking it out. And I mean it. It really does feel like a swan song, with the premise revolving around 3 warriors whose souls are reincarnated into the bodies of different people every generation. The themes of legacy and identity really reflect the state of Cartoon Network in its final months as both a studio and network, before it's reincarnated into something different, something that's called Cartoon Network, but on the inside is something entirely new. Seriously, check out Unicorn, it's really good. It's airing weekly Thursday nights on Adult Swim, with new episodes being posted the next day on HBO Max. And considering it took over 20 years to make, a majority of Cartoon Network Studios' lifespan, it's appropriate that it's the last big show they're releasing before everyone is forced out of the building. As always, these are just my thoughts and I want to hear yours. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the end of Cartoon Network as a studio? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going over at Roundtable Vids and at AwestruckVox on Twitter and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. See ya!